Okay, Gail, if you want to just open the meeting by the public hearing by announcing, I'm sorry.
Can you just email me the script?
Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can.
Perhaps you could take a picture of it and send her it in a text. That may be easier.
All right, Gail, I just forwarded it to you.
I've not received it as yet.
Gail, did you receive either one? I've emailed.
Yeah, I just received something. So I just received from you. So I'll go ahead and read this. You will have to forgive me because I can hardly see it. So I have my cell phone up in my face because I can't see without my glasses. All right. So this public hearing is called to order at 6:49 p.m. on September 14th, 2020 via WebEx. The purpose of this hearing is to hear public testimony with respect to Community Board 14's recommendations for the city's fiscal year 2022 capital and expense budgets. Copies of the board's proposed priorities are enveloped in Community Board 14's District Needs Statement. Copies for review are available on Community Board 14's website. If you would like to comment on the board's priorities, please email info@cb14brooklyn.com. If we receive comments during the hearing, they will be read aloud for the record. Any comments received after the close of the hearing will be attached to CB14's official recommendation as an addendum. Please state clearly for the record your name, address, and organization prior to giving testimony. Do we have any registered speakers?
Madam Vice Chair, we do not have any registered speakers. I will ask again that everybody, Ann Godette, could you please mute yourself? Lisa, Derek, please mute yourself. Thank you. That helps with the feedback. We had one recommendation form that was provided by a community resident, Martin Samoilov. And we have, and his recommendation was to install a capital request to install bollards at bus stops. It was inspired by the tragic accident on Ocean Avenue last year, where a young person was fatally hit by a car at the bus stop on Ocean Avenue. It looks like a sound recommendation. We will consider, we'll include it in our district needs statements about traffic safety and as a budget request. I'll also add that if anybody has other ideas regarding the district needs statement and related budget requests, these are the ones that are officially being entered into the record this evening, but we're always open to these ideas and suggestions. Thank you.
So I guess if there aren't any further speakers, we will conclude the meeting, the public hearing meeting at 6:52 p.m. for the record.
Thank you, Gail.
You're welcome. Glad to have you here.
At last.
Is that mask ban?
It's the Lone Ranger. Well, so we had no registered speakers for the public hearing?
We had one pre-submitted recommendation.
Okay. So we have a few minutes before the official meeting. So talk among yourselves.
Right. So board members who had to wait for the public hearing to start, just think now you don't have to wait so long for the meeting to begin in between.
Yeah. Sure. It's supposed to start 6:45. We're already 6:53.
Actually, and Brian's right, we can begin the meeting because we did post on our meeting notice that we would go directly into the public meeting.
At 6:45.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Well, just pretend that you're hearing a gavel, and this meeting of Community Board 14 is called to order on September 14th at 6:54 p.m. under the applicable statutes of New York State, the Charter of New York City, the board's bylaws, and Robert's Rules of Order. The board's policy is to encourage detailed public discussion of matters before the board at our committee meeting and at the hearings. Consequently, except by board members, there will be no public discussion at our regular monthly meetings of matters about which a public hearing or committee meeting has been held. Specific service delivery requests or complaints should be brought to the attention of the district offices by calling the board office during regular business hours or by visiting our website anytime. Other matters of civic interest may be brought before the board during our scheduled public comment period, which will begin tonight after all other business of the board's monthly meeting agenda has been concluded. No partisan political appeals or advertising of for-profit enterprises will be heard. Persons wishing to speak during the public comment period were asked to pre-register. At this time, I will ask the board secretary, well, first of all, I'll ask the board secretary to call the roll.
Ed, given the clunkiness of the online platforms, we're not doing a verbal roll call. We have a record of everybody who signed on and as as we've done in our other remote meetings, we'll do these, we'll take attendance that way. But it does mean that all board members have to pay close attention to the minutes when they're submitted in the following months and make sure that we got you.
Okay, then.
And we do have a quorum.
Great. Thank you, Sean. Then we'll proceed to approval of the June minutes. I believe the minutes were emailed out to everyone. So,
Motion to approve, Gail Smith.
thank you, Gail. Is there a second?
Nuremberg seconds.
Second, Hindi Benzel.
Thank you. Okay. I'm not quite sure how we should do this, but let's try those in favor. You can raise your hand or say aye.
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 Aye, Florencia.
Aye.
Elvenberg, aye.
Aye, Billy Richling.
Aye.
Ina Sapir, aye.
Joanne Brown, aye.
Aye, and Godin.
Florencia Changajita, aye.
Glenn Wolin, aye.
Okay. Those opposed say no. Okay, hearing no vote, the minutes are approved. So that moves us to the district manager's report.
Thank you, Ed. I know that we've been joined by Assembly Member Bobby Carroll. If I'd be happy to yield to the Assembly Member if our host can unmute him, please. That's Robert Carroll.
Hi, Sean, and hi, Ed, and Community Board 14. Can you all hear me? I don't think you can see me. I don't, for some reason my video isn't working, but I just wanted to stop in and say hi. It's good to see all of you via Zoom. Hopefully, in the not too distant future, but probably, I guess, distant future, we'll all be able to recongregate. But it's great to see folks coming back together and making sure that the necessary things to keep the quality of life in our neighborhoods going are happening. If there's anything going on at your children's school, with our streets, or anything else day to day in Community Board 14 where I can be helpful, because of course, just because of COVID has changed our lives, it doesn't mean that all the things that all of you and my office do on a regular basis just stop. And so any way that we can be helpful and assist in these very trying times, my office is always open. And so thank you. And if there's a quick question, I'd love to answer it, but I don't want to get in the middle of your meeting. Thank you, Sean, for allowing me to cut the line.
Sean, this is Michael Cedillo. Can you hear me?
Who is this?
This is Michael Cedillo. Can you hear me?
Yes, Michael, we can hear.
Yeah.
Hi. I just would like to ask the Assembly Member a quick question. Assembly Member Carroll, thank you so much for joining. Wondering if you have a public stance on long-term borrowing?
Great question, Michael. I do. I think that we should do some short-term borrowing to help cover the city and state's expenses between now and January, February of next year. I think the state and the city are going to have to raise some taxes, make some cuts, and borrow some money. And then we can reassess depending on who is the president and who runs the House and Senate about whether we will get federal aid and whether we can change course after that fact. But I think the next 6 months are going to be very trying, and it becomes impossible to make our city and state run, I think, if we don't do all three. So I think there are some smart tax increases, some smart belt tightening, and some smart borrowing that we can do over the next 6 months.
But specifically long-term borrowing for operating expenses? I'm not sure I was clear on that.
Yeah, no, so I mean, and we can talk, I'd love to talk to you offline, but I think there is real borrowing that we can do for operating expenses that will get us into basically the end of this fiscal year, which ends on March 31st. And I think that that can be prudent if it's done in concert with certain cuts and with certain tax increases. I think all of it should basically go through this fiscal year, because I do hope that we will have a different president and Congress, which may mean we could see real federal assistance. But we're obviously not going to see assistance from this administration or Congress, and we will still be stuck with them no matter what till basically February 1.
Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman Carroll. So at this point, I'm just going to ask that all microphones be silenced or muted, except for the person or persons who are speaking. We're hearing a lot of background noise and interference, and it's creating a problem. We're not able to hear each other. So the chair's report, well, the district manager's report, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I'm going to procrastinate even longer because I see that Inspector Wall is also here, and I think that he has something he has to go off to. So if you would like Ed to allow the inspector to speak, I'm willing to be patient.
By all means.
Back to music.
Go ahead.
Oh, good. All right. All right. Good evening, everybody. I just want to say good evening and happy Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur with the major holidays coming up. Just wanted to bring some things to everyone's attention. We had all of our NCO meetings held in August. Those were in person. Those are due to a little bit of the smaller attendance that's at the NCO meetings. The new quarter has started. So we'll be looking to having more meetings throughout the end of the year. One of the things that just ended today really only affects building owners, not every building owner, but our trespass affidavit program has officially ended today. That was a partnership between building owners and the police department, where the police could come in and patrol your privately owned building if you felt that there was a criminal issue going on. That program is officially ended today. We had about 11 buildings still in that program, and that was from a high of possibly 100 throughout the precinct. So unfortunately, for those 11 buildings and those building owners, that program is ended today. Our community council meetings will start back up in September. We'll be doing it via Zoom. Obviously, community board is doing such a great job with these meetings. We have to piggyback on that. So we'll be conducting our meetings via Zoom with Ed's help, starting on September 30th, and we'll try to get that information out to everyone. I know everyone's worried about a lot of the issues during crime and violence. We're working with our partners in community affairs, our partners in the community itself, Stop the Violence organizations, to really sort of put a dent on all this violence. And it's something that we're going to continue throughout the end of the year, something that we're going to need help with. This is really a total community issue, but I think we can definitely do it with everyone's help. So those are really some of the things that I really want to get across. And again, we're going to be getting back into all our meetings. So if anyone has any issues they want to contact, obviously our community affairs, obviously you have our regular community council meetings. And every quarter we have our 4 NCO meetings for every sector in the quarter. So there's a lot of different ways to get in touch with us. So again, any issues you have, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you, Inspector. Just to reiterate what the inspector was saying, the 70th Precinct Community Council will meet on the 30th. The meeting time is 7:30, and you'll be able to get the link via Community Board 14. Sean?
Okey doke. Thank you, Inspector. Okay, now without any further ado, I guess I'll do a district manager's report. A couple of things to follow up on from the executive committee meeting last week. Our staffing issue is such that we still don't know. I still haven't been told if I can bring on a temp, and I'm working on that. But in really good news, I was told that they would approve a personnel action to bring Anya onto 5 full days a week. And after the day she had coming back today, I hope she doesn't regret agreeing to do that, because I'm going to hurry up and get that paperwork in. And I will keep the board. I'm also going to, and our bylaws are clear on the responsibility I have for staffing the office, and I can hire and increase pay. But I didn't want to do, I just wanted to add an extra layer of accountability and transparency to that. So I reported it out to the executive committee. I want to report out to the board that I'm going to execute the personnel action to bring Anya on 5 full days a week. I know that will be approved by OMB. And then I'm going to request a small percentage increase in the hourly, in the pay. And I don't know if that will be approved, but I just wanted to put it on record that I'm going to make the request. Some of you, most of you know, I think I reported this out, I think, I'm losing track, but most of you know that there was a request by OMB that we participate in a voluntary layoff program, but we demurred. We are not participating in that, and in fact, need to actually increase staffing to meet the demands of the office. So that's the staff update. The office update is that there will be a person in the office, either Anya or myself, on Tuesdays for sure, and then either Wednesdays or Thursdays. So we are still not going to open the doors to members of the public. So we'll still be doing district service delivery remotely, but being in the office a couple days a week allows us to do old-fashioned things like get mail and faxes, and just will help us sort of keep sort of reorganizing as the meeting schedule picks up, and boy, is it's about to pick up. I was on budget consultations today. We had 6 of them, 6 agencies from 9 to 5. They went very well, but it was sobering. Not that I didn't already know, but it's still sobering to hear directly from Human Resource Administration and Department of Homeless Services were the 2 I led this morning. And the needs of the city are great, and the revenue and funding to meet those needs, not so much. So there's hopefully there'll be action at the state and federal level to offset the budget shortfall. Some of HRA is held harmless because the funding comes from federal formula, but DHS's budget is a lot more. DHS and Department of Health and Mental Hygiene are 2 budgets that are city levy driven, and there's going to be some difficulties meeting those needs. so, you know, working with your local elected officials who are state representatives, and I know Michael's question to Assemblymember Carroll was right along these lines, to get the state to make sure that that assistance is granted. And we'll continue to work with agencies as budgets are impacted. But a lot of the complaints that we're getting, you know, there's an uptick in things like a lot of quality of life complaints and sanitation, certainly. And so a lot of the sanitation service that isn't happening is due to those cuts. We were up to 6 days a week of basket collection. We're back down to 3. We had manual litter patrol, MLP, and our superintendent was very creative about using that. It's cut completely cut. Collection is still on 3 different times of the day. So we get a lot of calls about missed collection when simply the truck just hasn't been there yet. People are used to having their garbage collected before 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and now it's on a 4 to 12 truck. So we'll do our best to try to address concerns, and hopefully sometimes it's just the trucks coming a little bit later. But I remind property owners all the time that you are responsible for the front of your home, the sidewalk in front of your home, and 18 inches from the curb into the street. And it's all the more important that we step up to those responsibilities. And I know it's annoying when the city isn't providing sort of some baseline service, and then somebody from the city comes at you and says, now you have to do more. But we really do. But I also want to thank sanitation for what they have been doing. That's been extra work with our myriad food pantries, and with a few holiday food distributions coming up. They've really done a lot of extracurricular work getting those locations collected. DOT, a lot of quality of life and noise complaints that we've been working with PD on. And then one other thing is the street activity permits are still, for the most part, not being approved. So block parties, our street festivals, things that we really look forward to gathering at, there's a moratorium on them still. And yet NYPD has had some events in the district. It didn't come through the precinct, but I did raise my concern to the police commissioner and to local elected officials that it feels like, and it looks like, a bit of a double standard when I have to tell the residents and the good citizens of Community District 14 that they can't have an event, and then they go around the corner and there's an event. And so I'm working with SAPO and the electeds, and again, I did express my concerns to the commissioner, and they're members on our board who do really great work at some of our local community-based organizations, and I've spoken to a few of you. So, you know, it's just a concern that if a board member is holding a that doesn't have a permit, and I have to tell other people they don't have a permit. Joe Dweck, yourself, Joe Dweck. Thank you. So let's just all make sure that there's not a double standard, and we're all following the same rules. And if we need to work to change those rules, I am so on board. But as the rules stand now, there are very few permitted street activities except for food distribution, First Amendment rights, and there'll be some religious on the street religious activities in order to ensure social distancing. Other things, I know this is getting long. I'll talk really fast. Things that are still on the to-do list. I'm working on the district needs statement. There's still more budget consultations. We'll be applying for a planning fellow when that opens back up. Working with a group of colleagues on a report on the future of community boards. We'll work on our budget. We talked a little bit about the youth council. It's something this board still is interested in doing, and I know I have something on my to-do list to get back to the board on that. And then I haven't followed up with the Borough Hall on their proposal regarding commanding officers. So I will do that tomorrow because I forgot to do it up until now. But we're trying to hang in there, and I appreciate your patience. That's it. I'll stop there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Well done. Well done.
Look, there was more.
The chair's report. Well, first of all, I have to ask for a vote to approve the recommendations from the public hearing on budget recommendations. So is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion seconded.
Second? I heard a car horn. I wonder if that was.
This is Dwayne. Motion seconded.
Thank you, Dwayne. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the recommendations from the public hearing on budget recommendations. All in favor? We have to go through this again. I apologize. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Joe Dweck, aye.
Aye.
Glenn Wolin, aye. Billy Richling, aye.
Florencia Changajita, aye.
Saul Stein, aye.
Mo Rosby, aye.
Hindi Bendel, aye.
Elvin Burke, aye.
Joanne Brown, aye.
Dwayne Joseph, aye.
Kashi Hussain, aye.
Joe
Gail,
Sorry.
Gail Smith, aye.
Deborah Valentine, aye.
Okay, are there any no votes on this? Any no votes? Is there anyone who wishes to abstain? Is there anyone who would like to declare himself or herself ineligible to vote for reason of conflict of interest? Okay, then that motion carries. For the chair's report.
Ed, it's Joe Dweck. A lot of people need to mute their microphone.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joe. Please mute your microphone if you're not speaking. And no one should be speaking at this point except the chair. Thank you. On Wednesday, September 9th, an executive committee meeting was convened, and the only real item action was a suggestion that the board review the bylaws. However, the executive committee meeting began with the introduction of two new board members who were appointed by the board president, Eric Adams. They are Zakiya Khan and Michelle Bronson. Welcome aboard. The orientation shared some of the board's resources to assist active members, including the bylaws for Community Board 14. The board was reminded to be familiar with the membership section of the bylaws and note that board members are expected to be at all monthly meetings and that all board members serve as private citizens, not as representatives for a group or organization. In addition, board members cannot represent the board at public meetings or events unless requested to do so by the chair. Everyone should have received a committee preference form via email today, and committee assignments will be finalized before the October board meeting. If you did not receive your committee preference form, please notify the board office, call the board office, leave information to that effect. and include your mailing address. We also discussed upcoming land use items. Community Board 14 most frequently holds public hearings for special permit applications with the Board of Standards and Appeals in the special permit district in the southeast portion of the community district. These are usually for single-family homes that we vet to make sure they comport with precedent in terms of size and open space in the neighborhood. This process helps assure a neighbor's concerns are addressed. However, in October, we will hear two less typical applications. One is for a homeless shelter planned at 21 Duryea Place, and the other is for 1620 Cortelyou Road. There was a brief discussion regarding the Youth Council. We spoke over the summer, and there was broad support for forming a Community Board 14 Youth Council. And there is still general board support for moving forward with that. That concludes the chair's report. And moves us to, sorry about that, moves us to topical committee reports. Are there any other elected officials who have joined us?
I don't see any, we do have some representatives and they will speak during the public session. And when we'll go through that list when we get there after the committee reports.
Thank you, Sean. So,
Ed, I'm sorry to jump in again. There are Shahid Khan, Donald Loggins, and Hindi Bendel all have their hands raised. That may have been a matter of voting, or they might have questions.
No, that was a matter of voting. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Take your hands down if you were just raising them to vote and don't have a question. Donald Loggins, do you have a question? Shahid Khan, do you have a question?
No?
Okay, you can unraise your hand.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Billy Richling, do you have a question?
I do. That was not a voting thing. I was just curious what the NYPD events that you mentioned were, because I hadn't seen those around, and I'm just curious.
There was a flag day for Pakistan Independence Day on Coney Island Avenue. I can't remember the date, but it was probably August 14th ish. There was also a community basketball game at the parade grounds, at the parade ground. I caught myself, Alvin, because I know that's a pet peeve. The parade ground, like the weekend before Labor Day, that was organized by the chief of community affairs, sort of right in front of a bunch of people who'd been complaining about noise all summer long. So those were the two that I objected to. And then I think there was maybe some participation in a school supply giveaway, and I'm not sure that happened because I raised concerns about that too. Why, Billy? You feel like you missed out on the fun?
Yeah, I love Flag Day events. Thanks.
Okay, I think that's it with questions. The other hands, I think, were votes. Go ahead, Alvin. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, it's Jonathan Judge. I just have a point of order.
Okay.
On the agenda, it mentioned the report of the Committee of the Whole, and technically the action we took during the Committee of the Whole has to be ratified now that we're in a proper regular meeting of our session. So I don't think I missed anything. I don't think I had an internet outage. I just wanted to make sure that we at least formally ratify the action taken at the Committee of the Whole meeting.
Thank you, Jonathan. And I assume that are you talking about the entire, I mean, everything that took place at that executive committee meeting, or is there anything specifically?
So it would just be that the recommendation that we approved as a committee of the whole, we would just need to ratify the same thing that was already approved by the committee of the whole in this board meeting.
Jonathan, since you made the motion upon which the committee of the whole acted, would you, for the benefit of those who didn't attend, could you reiterate it? Because you had the language down pat.
Okay, let me go and find, because I know I had written.
I don't think it has to be verbatim, and I think there's enough of us here who, if you do misspeak, we can jump in if you want to just go from memory.
So yeah, so this would just be a matter of ratifying, saying that we as a full board continued to agree with what we voted on at that committee of the whole meeting, which consisted of that we would let the borough president know to be able to communicate on our behalf, that we endorse the general concept of involving community stakeholders in a review of candidates being considered for appointment to the police precinct commanding officer position, and to continue that conversation with interested community boards and stakeholders in shaping the process to a fully detailed proposal. So that's what we had voted on back in the committee of the whole. That's what was approved by the committee of the whole. And this is just a matter of us formally ratifying that decision, which we took action on by writing that letter.
Thank you, John.
And Mr. Chair, may I just recommend maybe we could just do a unanimous consent to ratify, just to streamline things, if there are no objections to that.
Thank you. That's just what I had in mind. First of all, is there any discussion regarding that? Okay, hearing none and seeing no hands raised. I'm just going to ask if there is any objection, or is there, would anyone like to register a no vote on that? Any no votes?
Joe Dweck, I have a no vote.
Okay, that's one.
Glenn Wolin, I have a no vote.
Two so far.
Jonathan, can I rely on your parliamentary expertise? This is not a vote to say whether or not you liked the action. It's a vote as to whether or not it's ratifying that the action took place.
Mm-hmm. The effect of it is that, though I think we had a majority of the board present for that committee of the whole, if I remember correctly, or it was a substantial number. The point of ratification is that the committee of the whole technically could have been less than quorum in a typical situation. And so since action would be taken and things would move forward based on what was voted on at that committee of the whole meeting, that just like any other committee, before the board would formally adopt it, it would have to be adopted by the full membership at a proper regular meeting in session. So this is just essentially saying this is an opportunity that it could be discussed whether it should be ratified or not. But so that is a possibility with this particular motion to ratify. But with that said, this is basically just saying that, yes, we continue to concur with what the committee of the whole agreed to when that vote was taken. So it can be opened up for further discussion and reconsidered at wholesale, but that's just up to how everybody feels. It's really just saying, do we ratify what was done back then, as long as we still agree with it based on what the committee of the whole did.
Joe Dweck, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Joe.
I thought at the committee of the whole regarding this item that we had said that we wanted more guidance from the borough president's office on it. Am I incorrect?
As I recall, Joe, you are correct.
I recall that as well.
The purpose of that letter was not to do further discussion. It was to ask for further elucidation from the borough president's office.
Right.
Mr. Chair, just so if I may, just to clarify, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
The letter that was written as a result of the committee of the whole, that's all we're ratifying, is that that letter is still, that action taken to write the letter, that's still okay with the board, that we're formally ratifying the letter that you wrote, that you already sent. It's more of a technicality, though it could be reviewed wholesale, but it is more about the fact that, do we still agree that the letter you sent is still reflective of the will of the board? And that's the grand total of it. This isn't anything more than what was already done during the committee of the whole.
Thank you, John.
Salstein, just correct me if I'm wrong. That letter, Sean, I believe she sent it out and gave everyone an opportunity to comment on that letter before sending it out.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Okay. So, is there, so far, we had 2 no votes. Is there anyone who would like to change their vote, a no vote to a yes vote, or a yes vote to a no vote? I mean, since there's been a bit more clarification regarding what we're voting for or against. Okay, then, hearing none, again, that motion carries. So we move on now to topical committee reports, starting with Human Services.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the new normal of our virtual board meetings. I hope everyone had a good summer and found some rest. I have no report for a committee meeting, but I just have a quick update on what's going on in the district with regards to our census response. Today is, we have 16 days left into the end of the survey. And as of today, which is the 14th, the U.S. response, so you have something to base on Kings County's response, is 65.8%. Kings County's response, or Brooklyn's response, is 56.5%. All of these numbers include the NARFU, or the non-response follow-up. We have some tracks that are responding really, really well. As previously spoken to about the Woodruff Crook area over just west of Ocean Avenue, they're at 71.6% compared to last 10 years ago, where 63%. So they are like really doing a great job. Also south of Church Avenue, East 19th Street to Buckingham, they're also at 70.6%. And compared to 10 years ago, they were at 63.8%. We do have an area that is in trouble. This is track 794. This is Flatbush Avenue to Bedford Avenue going to the east, Church Avenue to Beverly going to the south. They are still only at 48.8%. And in 2010, they were at least at 50%. So if you have any connection to people that live in that area, it's an immigrant area. We need trusted messengers just to go out. We have 16 days to do this. Just try to at least get that area up at 50%. We want to make sure that that demographic is represented. So the next time I see you, the census will be over. We'll have a lot of people to thank in the district for the work that they did to get us to this point. And it's not over. 16 days. We can get a lot done. Nice to see you all. Thanks.
Thank you, Joanne. Youth Services.
This is Dwayne. Jonathan, you still there?
Yes.
Yep, I'm here. Sorry, I just stepped away for a sec.
No problem. Nothing to report on our end. There was some discussion over the summer about the youth council, and I have to apologize to my co-chair and to the district manager. There was supposed to be some follow-up on my end. Unfortunately, the summer got in the way, work and a few other things. But we have reached out to a few local organizations to help us with the planning and organizing of the youth council. It was my task to follow up with those one or two of those organizations, and put together a meeting. And I apologize to the board for not doing that, but I will make sure I get on that so that we have something to report on in October. I also like to, quickly, that was me with the whoop whoop just now, because I live on Woodruff Avenue, and I'm very proud of the fact that, not only Woodruff Avenue, but Community Road 14 is pretty blue on the census hard to count map. It's amazing. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Jonathan. I'm sorry, I just kind of jumped in there.
No, I nothing else to add except that we're looking forward to continue finding innovative ways to serve young people and make sure that they get all the resources and opportunities they need in the middle of a pandemic, which hopefully will be concluded sooner than we think. So that's all I got to say. Looking forward to getting back into the swing of things with everybody.
I will add one thing. For those of you that are on Facebook, and Jonathan, you may have seen this, I've kind of tried to keep our youth council page active with information from the Department of Youth Services. Right now, they're running a series with young people to get their voices out and to be heard and listened to. I would encourage all of you to, join those meetings if you can. If you have any young people in your life that could benefit from hearing from other young people about what they feel and think about what's going on and how they're looking to engage more in our communities, please encourage them to participate. You can find the information either on the DYCD site directly, or I have been posting it on the Youth Council Facebook site for people to be able to access.
Okay, thank you, guys. Public safety. Either of the public safety co-chairs with us tonight?
Alex, can you unmute Brian Cunningham? He's on the attendees list.
Good evening, everyone. Nothing to report this month. Looking forward to hopefully having a meeting next month and more to report. Welcome back from the summer.
Thank you, Brian. Community environment.
As far as I know, there's nothing to report, but I'm hoping that we will get active with the park and the other program that we spoke about at our last meeting regarding cleanup and getting people involved in that.
Excellent. Thank you, Nina. Education, libraries, and community affairs, and cultural affairs, pardon me. Let me repeat that. Education, libraries, and cultural affairs.
Carl, can you unmute yourself? I see. Oh, there he is. Hi, Carl.
Yep. Hey, what's up, folks? So you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Awesome. Cool. So on behalf of myself and Steve, it's good to be back, and we hope that everyone remains safe and sound and you are able to enjoy the summer in some form or another. So basically, the update is just that there is a joint committee meeting with transportation for next Wednesday, starting at 6:30. It's going to be online. And for the education, libraries, and cultural affairs, the two items on the agenda for our side, it's an update on school projects and reopening updates with a representative from School Construction Authority. And then the other part is a committee discussion on a proposal to permit street use by schools for outdoor distancing. And so that's the update from the Education, Libraries, and Cultural Affairs Committee.
Thanks so much, Carl. Transportation.
Hi, everybody. Joel here. As Carl just announced, we're going to have a joint meeting next week. So that's the report.
I'm gonna add to Joel's report because one of the items on the agenda for the Transportation Committee meeting that night is a planned bike lane on Parkside Avenue. And I know our board gets excited sometimes in one way and sometimes in another about bike lanes. So that's the specifically transportation for that meeting.
Okay, that concludes the topical committee reports and moves us now to the public session. Sean, I think you mentioned that there were several.
Yeah, I'll name the first three to help our host make sure they get unmuted on time and to move us along, hopefully. But Lisa Derrick from the Office of Assemblymember Bichot, I think Lisa's still with us. I wanted to make an announcement. And then after Lisa will be Abigail Banks from New York City Emergency Management, David Nussbaum from DOB, and Nancy Lulu from the DA's office. Starting with Lisa Derrick.
Hi there. Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Lisa.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good to see all your faces. I hope that you really enjoyed the summer, got out and enjoyed the beautiful summer that we have. I just wanted to make one brief announcement. Many of you may have heard already because we have shared this through the Assembly Member Bichot has shared this through her communications. But this is regarding the PS 152, PS 315 playground that we were able to get open on Labor Day to allow families and children in the community to go out and enjoy the good outdoors before school starts and before the winter arrives. It's a beautiful, beautiful playground. It was very well put together with ideas, design ideas from the students themselves, contributions from members in the community, families in the community, and Trust for Public Land, who spearheaded the project, and of course, Susanna Lascaris, who was very integral in getting the garden, the community garden, which is also part of this community playground. If you have not had an opportunity yet to go and see it, I urge all of you to go and just take a look, walk around. It has a track. It has so many different areas for children to explore, seating areas for adults to sit in shaded areas while their children play. So please do take full advantage of it before the summer is over. The playground is to be used by the students during school session when school is, and that's from 8 a.m. It opens 8 a.m. and it closes at dusk every day. So when school is over, it's open to the community. On the weekends, it's open to the community. Same hours every day, 8 a.m. to dusk. So please do get out and enjoy it. That is all that I wanted to report. Again, happy to see you all, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And the next speaker is my colleague, and I'll just kind of leave it at that because I don't want to mix apples with oranges here. But Abigail Banks is with the Office of New York City Emergency Management. Abby? Could you unmute Abigail Banks?
I cannot locate her unless she is calling in.
Okay.
Yeah, Ed, I think, yeah, I don't have her on this list. I don't see her anymore either.
Okay, okay.
Hi, sorry, Ed. I just wanted to mention that there are 3 call-in users that are not identified. Perhaps one of them is Ms. Banks. Call-in user 11, 4, and 7. That's for Alex as well.
Alex, if you could unmute all 3 of those and they can announce if one of them is Abigail.
Okay, they're all unmuted now.
Are any of you call-in users Abigail Banks? Okay, we did try. And if you want to mute them again, Alex, thank you. And we'll move on to Dave Nussbaum, who I believe is still there.
I also don't see him anywhere. I see the
call-in users Abigail Banks. All right, thank you. Then that will move us on to Nancy Lulu. Is Nancy still here?
Yes, I am. Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Good.
Good to see you guys, all of you virtually, and hopefully we get to see each other in person sometime soon. Just a quick announcements regarding some updates on the work of the Brooklyn DA's office with the reconvening of grand jury in Brooklyn Supreme Court as of August 11, 2020. Ever since, our office has been hearing cases and indicted dozens of individuals. The indictments we obtained ensure that dangerous offenders will remain in custody and enable us to redouble our efforts in fighting violent crimes. Another announcement is that the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office has created a Gun Violence Suppression Bureau that provides additional resources to keep Brooklyn safe. This new bureau will improve the office's response to gun violence by consolidating resources and expertise under a single umbrella, by working closely with law enforcement agencies to expeditiously collect and enhance the evidence necessary for a successful prosecution. Also, the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office had a back-to-school drive where we collected backpacks and school supplies to help a start of a successful school year for students. And on this past Saturday, in effort to reduce gun violence on the streets of Brooklyn, DA Gonzalez has hosted a collaborative community gun buyback event with the NYPD in East New York. We were able, there were 33 guns surrendered and now off the streets of Brooklyn. And finally, I just want to remind everybody to the Action Center's phone number. So if anybody has a public safety or quality of life matter, please feel free to reach out to the Brooklyn DA's Action Center at 718-250-2340. And if anybody has any questions or concerns, you could always feel free to reach out to me at lulu@brooklynda.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Joe, Ed?
Yes.
It's Joe Dweck. I just got to announce that as soon as they get a vaccine, I'm going to hug and kiss everybody on the board.
Okay, I want everybody to not react to that so Sunita can go ahead. Sunita, you are still, your microphone is off, you're still muted, and you have control over it. You can unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So, my name is Sunita. I'm the outreach coordinator from the Neighborhood Week program. I'm not sure if I'm the correct meeting. This is my first ever community board meeting. And I just wanted to say that the WIC program is open and we are providing WIC services remotely. Just a reminder that WIC is very important for all pregnant women, breastfeeding women, and infants and children. Mothers, babies who are born to mothers who were on WIC, those babies are less likely to experience cognitive and developmental delays. So it's very important to continue referring the children, infants, and pregnant women to WIC. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, you're on the right meeting because that's important information. Cheryl Williams Love from Canva, you are next.
It looks like I'm unable to unmute her
Cheryl
completely.
Williams Love from Canva, you are next. So we can't get that announcement from Canva, Alex? Is that what you're saying? Is there something that could be done?
It looks like she doesn't have anything connected to audio.
Okay. Then let's move on. Is Ginger Dawn Boyd with us? I didn't see her name here. Is she one of the call-ins?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay. Go ahead then, please. Thanks for your patience.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. So I'm a lead tenant organizer of 100 Woodruff Avenue. We are part of Parkway Tenants Association. I'm trying to get more information on the ongoing investigations of the gun violence that occurred along Ocean Avenue the week of August 14th through the 19th. I apologize if this is not the right forum to pose this question.
It's not a terrible forum to pose the question in, but it would be a matter of service delivery. And for that, you would work directly with me and the staff during business hours. I'd be happy to facilitate that communication with the 70 Police Precinct. And I would encourage you to take part in their Build-A-Block and community council meetings. So circle back to me tomorrow during business hours and we'll proceed accordingly.
Sure, I would love to. The only reason why I'm here is because I went to the Build the Block meeting and they didn't discuss the investigations. It was very disconcerting.
Okay, you can ask the question, but again, this is service delivery, so it's not for this is really for announcements of civic interest. So let's circle back on it tomorrow.
Okay, how do I find your contact information?
I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
It's all over our website too. And I encourage everybody to look at our website all the time. We have Sharon Pope from Bike NY next on the list.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Yes, thank you. Good evening. Thank you, District Manager, and also Chair. I'm sorry, Board Chair. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sharon Pope Marshall, Director of Outreach and Membership Program. I'm happy to be here this evening. Our beloved city continues to be terribly impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. You should know that Bike New York has cycled the streets of the Big Apple since 1977. We know New York is tough because we are all New York tough. Cycling forward is what we do. It is therefore no small amount of pride that Bike New York is excited to announce our virtual cycling event called Spoke. That's SPOKE, Tober, Spoketober. We're inviting everyone to ride every day in October in the name of wellness, camaraderie, and just plain good old-fashioned family fun. I am asking your help in promoting this virtual initiative. I'll leave my information and my contact information and also registration for Spoketober. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, and I look forward to cycling on Parkside. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Sure, Sharon. It sounds like you'll be with us for the Transportation Committee later this month.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's all of the pre-registered voters. I know that Pinkas Heikind has been here with us representing the comptroller, and Ellie Slavin is also here. I don't know if Ellie I don't see a microphone, if you wanted to make an announcement or not.
Yes, good evening, everybody. First of all, everybody, let me just wish everybody stay safe, and for those of the Jewish faith and everybody a happy and healthy New Year. Just quickly, it's late in the hour. I just want to mention a couple of bills that are in the Congress that passed. The postal bill, which allocates $25 billion to the postal office to continue working. The George Floyd Justice and Policing was passed. The Moving Forward Act, which is involved in Infrastructure Act. Also the Patient Protection Affordable Care, and also the appeal to the Senate to go on with the H.R. 8 to pass that bill, which is very strong wording on the gun violence, requesting backdrop checking on the member was also very involved in the census, and I'm glad to hear that you guys are on the upper numbers, because Brooklyn all over is not such good numbers. I mean, I think it's like 55 to 60%. So congratulations to your area that you're doing well. But we've had quite a number of events with the census. We were in front of many of the supermarkets, reached out to with food distributions. So we've tried very hard on our part. And again, there's only a couple of days that are left. So I encourage everybody to do their part as we are doing ours in trying to get the census. And everybody knows the importance of it, so I'm not going to repeat it. Again, thank you everybody for having me. Stay safe.
Thank you, and thanks for your patience and hanging in there with us. I'm sorry that we weren't able to get Cheryl Love from Canva on here. Cheryl, if you can hear me, you can go ahead and send us any of the information you wanted to present. We'll put it on our website. I know the topic was SNAP benefits, aka food stamp benefits, and I know that there's been a huge upsurge in participation in that program. So we absolutely want to get information out on those benefits. So we'll circle back to you. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties to everybody who is on this
She
meeting.
seems to be unmuted now.
Oh, Cheryl, are you there?
I'm here.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead, Cheryl. Sorry for it. Go ahead and speak. You'll be the last speaker tonight.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for the delay and trying to get on, but I wanted to say what a privilege it is to speak to you all tonight. Are you hearing me okay?
Someone else has their mic muted. Please mute your mic. If you're not, please
Slavin needs to be muted.
mute your mic.
Hello.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. I was saying good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
Yes. So sorry for the delay. This is Cheryl Love calling, representing Canva. I'm a SNAP enrollee person. I help people apply for food stamps as needed. And so we're at 21 Snyder Avenue, helping the people out in Brooklyn there apply for SNAP benefits. I can process the applications for them right at, I can give you my email address. And if there are people who are interested, they can send me an email and I can tell them the documents that I'll need in order to process their applications.
So you can just send us information that we can post on our website if you'd like. And we'll get
Okay.
that information out there and encourage our community to participate and apply.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. That being our last speaker, let me just thank Sean for all of her hard work. I mean, she has the job of district manager, part-time chair, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, Sean, thank you. We really appreciate that. It is now 8:02. Or, excuse me, is there someone who wants to be recognized?
Yes, David Nussbaum has re-entered the call.
Part-time chair and a whole bunch of.
Hello, can you hear me?
You got 1 minute. You got one of your 3 minutes. Go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, go, David.
Good evening, everyone. I know it's the end of the night, and thank you. I got dropped. I was trying to get back in. Just very quickly, DOB has been working throughout this unfortunate pandemic. All our information is online. If you need specific information, whether it's filing a job, whether it's specific to coming to our offices, a lot of services are being done remotely. You could go to our website. It's nyc.gov/buildings. And if you have any specific issues that you need to work on, you certainly could go through the board. They know how to reach out to me directly, and I'll be happy to get back to you. Thank you, and be well.
And you be well as well. It is now.
Can I make a motion to adjourn and end this meeting?
It is now 8:03, and I will accept a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we stand adjourned at 8:03. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Happy, healthy New Year,
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy
Happy days, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Blessed holidays, Shana Tova, to those who observe.
Well then.